How's it going, YouTubers? We're back. Magnet Warriors have officially hit Master Rank again. So, yeah, gonna show you the deck list here in a second. There have been some changes. This climb was a little more difficult than last time, although overall still not bad. Definitely easier than my K9 Ninja run. What you'll see here is that I've put in Duel and I've put in Ghost Mourner. Ghost Mourner was really MVP because you can use it as an effect veiler on your turn. It's actually pretty cool going second because you can basically just do extra damage with it and make OTKs a lot easier. I cut down to 2 Sigma minus and I've added a second Nibiru, basically just trying to maximize high impact hand traps. I still have Super Poly but only at 2, and I took away Dragon's Mind because as good as it was when I would draw it, it was oftentimes kind of just inconvenient and clogging up hands. But anyway, here we go into the duels. So we're starting off going second here, and as you can see, this is very much just a prime going second hand. This is also part of why I took Dragon's Mind out, but anyway. So I hit them with Purrely, get a draw here, and then I hit them with Ash. They're playing Purrely, so I know I need to do everything in my power to prevent them from getting their unaffected boss monster, which can then just have a bunch of bounces and really tight effects. And it's also mixed with Yummy, so you can imagine the type of disgusting end board they can make when you have Herald and then their Purrely boss monster. So they drolled, so I'm not getting any more draws off of this, and that still enables them to get a pretty solid end board. I do avoid them having Herald though, so there's no Omni Negate on board. And I thankfully draw into the starter in Magnet Bonding. I do hit them with a Fua just in case they can special summon on my turn. And then I just start to go full combo here with linear plus minus. They'll SP it away for some reason, but it's all good because then I just am able to special summon Beta and get my fusion plays live. They're gonna try to snatch you on my turn and book the Beta. Doesn't matter though. I go right into. Oh, sorry. They try to book right here, which is annoying because then it stops the floodgate effect. But I go into Odion, and then we'll fuse into Flux Oxenfeld. And I'm gonna take it. Well, I was gonna pop their Purrely monster, and they just scoop it up. Going first here, going in game 2. So I don't have the usual protection there from Kokimeru Guardian because I would have to sacrifice the normal summon. So I have to go straight into Beta, but thankfully I have the Call by the Grave. Unfortunately though, they have Songs of the Dominators. So I can tell we're playing a trap deck here. Yep, and there comes the Treasures of the Kings. But I'm familiar with how Odion works, so I'm going to try to do what I can here. So thankfully, Beta can tag out into Epsilon, which then gets back the Beta, and Beta can tag out into something else. So really, my only 2 forms of interruption right now are Call by the Grave and Nibiru, which they're actually looking like they're playing into. Fortunate for me. There comes the Apophis Trap, they go into Link Spider, and right now Nibiru's live. So I tag out into the Sigma Plus so that when I do go into Nibiru, I get something off of it. Now they just beat over they crash into the Nibiru with the Anubis card since they can just get it back anyway. But that'll end their turn on a fat token there. I fuse into Plasma. Plasma will get me the Magnet Bonding. They're gonna Droll, which is fine. I do have Call by the Grave, so it doesn't matter. Now I use Magnet Bonding, get plus minus out, and we're at full combo again. So all I have to do is out the token, and then I can just deal direct damage to end the game. Now the Torrential Tribute was not expected there, but thankfully I can get the plus minus back for next turn, and Odion can special itself out. And I was gonna fortify my board there anyway. Unfortunately, I don't hit on anything here that I can use with Adamancipator Researcher. So I just hit for 48 to the face. And then I go into Zeus to wipe the board. There's no point in risking them having anything there. So I go into Odion again, and then I end on Typhon. they skip their draw phase because of Dugares, and they'll just get out Verdict of Judgment of Anubis the Last Judge, sorry, and then I'll tag out, force them to attack a Magnet Warrior. They'll Typhon my Typhon, which is interesting, but ultimately I should be able to then just use the Omega Plus from Grave, or I just use Magnet Bonding, either way. Yeah, so I go into Flux. Flux will special summon Plasma, bounce the Typhon, and then that's enough to do direct damage anyway. Going second here. And we have Fua, so that's really our only form of interruption that we're hoping to draw into other hand traps. And we're facing Cryston K9. I haven't faced this deck a lot ever since it was playable here in Master Duel, but it's a very strong deck that can have a ton of negates. So I'm hoping that, first of all, that the Fua just makes them play more conservatively, and if not, I'm hoping that I draw into a powerful hand trap like Nibiru. And they are going to end on a half board, probably less than half. They just end on Dawn Dragster. And my play here is to just go ahead and try to make it so I can super poly away the Dawn Dragster so it doesn't interrupt my spell card plays. So I get to Odion out, and I actually just decide to, in battle phase, since I have 2 super polys, fuse it away. So I go Mud Dragon. I'm under max C, but it doesn't matter because now at this point they can't do anything. And then with the second super poly, I just make Flux. Now they spring their trap to try and pop Flux and survive. But thankfully, thanks to Flux's Reborn effect, I'm able to bring Plasma out and just attack for game. Easy peasy so far. Going second again here, and I draw Fua, and I have Ash too. So I have 2 forms of interruption, and you can see that I still have Dragon's Mind at this point in the run. I'll Ash the Tract there, but then it looks like we're playing Primite Fiendsmith with Odion. So Odion's catching some hands here early on in my run. And now I'm waiting for the proper moment to spring Fua, because it's the only way I'm going to try to get any kind of card advantage. So I do it right there when I think that they could special summon as part of the effect. Now it's up to them if they want to play into it or not. And at this point, they don't have enough on the field to really threaten. So they do go into the fusion. They go into the Apophis fusion. They special summon from deck, and then they end on Barone. So they have Barone. Just looking at the interruptions they have Barone, and they have the 2 Apophis cards set, as well as a pop from the fusion. So now I'm trying to think, how can I crack this board? I basically have to bait out the Barone. So I try to do it there, thinking that maybe if they stop my Magnet Bonding, but they don't do it. Now they go into Swamp Deity there to negate the Magnet Bonding and set another one. So now there's 2 negates that I have to play around. I go into the special summon here. I get Epsilon out. They'll negate Epsilon there. So now I only have to worry about Barone. And that's where they spring it when I try to fuse away the Epsilon that they're trying to pop. So there I go into Researcher, and I hit on the Sigma Plus. I pop the linear to get it back, and now I go right into Exciton Knight. So they have no negates left, so Exciton will wipe out the entire board. I normal summon Beta, and I'm able to fuse here. They do hit me with Fua, which is unfortunate, but I should have enough here to go for game since they paid 2k for the Primite Roar card. Yeah, and I get the extra normal. So the thing is there, I can't do any damage this turn because I used Exciton Knight's effect. So I just end on a strong follow-up board where I have IP and I have my Omni Negate. Now they try to Drill Beam, so I'll just immediately chain the IP and go into SP. And I'll use it to get rid of their Lordly Load. I'll take control of the Man with the Mark. I let them go off there with the Treasures of the Kings because I have my Omni Negate. Here, I just tag out from Odion, and I'll make them attack the Sigma Minus. They scoop it up because they realize I have too much advantage right here. We're going first, and a really strong going first hand because I draw into Dragon's Mind. I have Ghost Mourner now as well, so if they try to special summon anything on my turn, it's going to get negated. Now they hit me with Impulse, and right there, just pausing right here, the second that they dropped Impulse, I knew immediately I had to go for the Fusion, because now everything that they summon will get turned into Earth. And even though they are able to Ash Blossom the Fusion here, I don't have any follow-up plays. I just set Dragon's Mind and pass. But depending on what they're playing, they're absolutely toast. So they're playing Maliss, and then they're about to see that everything that they summon gets turned to Earth, so they can't activate any effects, and they scoop it up. It's a quick replay, but I wanted to feature it just because of how funny that was. Going first again here, and solid opening hand. I have Duotarian and I have Magnet Bonding. So I have enough to go full combo depending on what they have in hand. So we start with Duotarian to get a second Magnet Bonding, see if they have Droll, essentially. They don't. I go into linear plus minus. I get Beta. Beta will get the Sigma minus. And then I add Odion on purpose here, so that I can use it as fusion material. Go right into Plasma. Get Induction out. Induction will special Epsilon. Epsilon's going to get another body as well, and get Omega into rotation. We go into Gallon Granite, get Researcher. This is essentially just full combo, so I'm really just showing this duel more than anything as a highlight of how powerful this end board can be. We go into Nat Beast. I link off the other two into IP, and then Odion comes out. So essentially full board right there, and I still have one interruption in hand too. And we're facing Branded Dracotail. So I hit the Arthalion there, and then I will IP into SP. So we're gonna get rid of the Sting. They do pop Nat Beast, unfortunately. I technically could have IP'd the Nat Beast away, but it was pointless because one of my other meaningful interruptions would have gone away. They take 3k there from the burn damage of Ghost Mourner. They set Flame, and then 2 other cards in pass. So now, essentially, I just have to worry about the Flame and how I interact with it, but essentially I just turn everything into attack mode. I go into battle phase right away because I know that they have Horn set. So I bait it out, use SP, and then because I took control of their Gulamel, it's still my card at this point. They don't have anything, and they pass, so my turn. Now I can just kind of OTK, so I set everything into attack and go for game. Alright, we're going second against the Pharaoh here. I have Max C, but aside from that, I don't have really much aside from that and Ash Blossom. Now, going back to my turn, I would have a strong interruption, but they're playing K9. K9 Vanquish Soul, excuse me. So immediately, they're going to make their full board here. Now, they are trying to play around Max C, so they go with Ripper. I'm trying to just bait out the interrupts there, so yeah. I stopped them from searching. So basically to force them to play into Max C a little more. And they're going to special summon using Holly Sue. So Mad Love will search for start, play start, set, Snow Devil. This is just a regular combo here. Got a little carried away with the pause button there. But yeah, Snow Devil comes out now. And so they'll have a board wipe. They don't have any negates, but they also have forced release set. And they have the bounce and the change of heart from Holly Sue. So I try to bait out stuff by going into plus minus and then beta. I fuse, turn everything into an earth. So yeah, that's when they will go into werewolf. I think they were suspecting that I was threatening heavy super poly. Go into induction here. So now I've protected my monsters by making all the magnet warriors and magna warriors indestructible thanks to induction. And I don't think that they saw that coming or understood that secondary effect. So yeah, I was baiting out an effect there. This is when they will try to weaken plus minus. The math wasn't mathing though, so I've been able to beat over Werewolf. I took control, then they took control back of Holly Sue, which was funny. Yeah. So I bring out Omega Plus. I get linear plus minus back to hand. Go Gallant Granite. I trigger the effect of Surge. I get Researcher. This is when they choose to blow up the board. So all of their Vanquish Soul cards are safe, but their K9 cards are not. My magnets are safe, and now I'm deciding to fuse into Flux Oxenfeld. So Flux will special summon back the Researcher. I hit. And now I make Nat Beast. So I end on Nat Beast. I get the Holly Sue back because it's my card now. And I have a pretty solid disruption here. So they show me that cards are going to bounce the lowest defense. So they bounce Nat Beast. I bounce the start to prevent the addition. If I remember correctly, I was actually at 0 seconds left on the clock at one point. So I have to stop right after this. But it looks like they were low on time too. So right here, after I pop the, I used the Odion effect. That was the last meaningful interaction I do after the Sigma Plus effect. Now they're still comboing off, and I'm thinking, okay, well I can't do anything, but thankfully they were just as low on time as I was. So these combo heavy decks will really sometimes make each other time out, which is funny. We're going second here. I have Droll and Lock and then double Fua. So I'm waiting for the opportunity here to double Fua, and we're facing a mirror match. So definitely have to be careful. As soon as they commit to the fusion play, that's when I double Fua. They don't stop it at all. So right there, the Plasma will give me 2 draws. And pretty strong draws, so I'm able to use Mourner to stop the Plasma effect. They'll use Talents for 2. And they'll end on Omega Plus, Beta, and Pass. And Plasma, of course. Now I kickstart my plays. They're going to tag out Beta. I will chain Max C. They'll chain Ash. They go Epsilon. Now I'm going to prevent them from special summoning. They will hit me with Droll, which is fine. I'll use Induction here to special from deck. Epsilon will then get me more bodies on board. They'll flip down my plus minus, which doesn't matter. So I go right into Flux Oxenfeld because I'm able to use the fusion. Now I set up so I can get to Odion out, go straight to battle. They will tag out again with Beta, but I'll just use that to take control of Plasma. They use Gamma there. Now they'll be able to bring out the Valkyrion, which doesn't matter because I bounce it, direct attack, and leave them in a pretty tough position because now they have Valkyrion in hand and it's a total brick. So no worries there, and I have a Beta ready to tag out into anything else. They just set 1 and pass. I'll bounce it so that on my turn I don't have to worry about anything. I can just attack for game. So sorry, bud, there can only be one, and today that was me. Next play here, we're going second again. So I have only Ghost Bell there, and we're facing Kewl Tune. So I don't have a lot of experience playing against this deck. I just know that they are capable of doing ripping a card from the top of the deck, 1 of 2, and then they can rip from the extra deck too, which currently isn't the biggest deal for the way I've constructed my extra deck, because they could do it on Flux Oxenfeld, which would be really unfortunate. but they're not banishing face down. So I can always use the magnet bonding to get back. So now here we have their Synchro Dragon play, which is basically a transmigration card, because they can negate either the first or second effect on a chain, assuming from like resolving backwards, which is super annoying. Now I'm trying to bait it out here. And I'm also hoping that they play into Super Poly, which they do right there. So I Super Poly away that Pest, and I go into Mud Dragon. The idea is now that I have targeting protection, and I'm trying to get into the point where I can fuse and turn everything into Earth so that they can't even target their own monsters. Not that they play into it that much, I would find out. And they've now ripped the Nat Beast and Plasma, but it doesn't matter. They scoop it up. They just didn't have anything that they could stop me with at that point. Now, anyway, here we're going first. Not a good hand. So I have no real starters. They hit me with Max C, and I choose to just not Ash it and save the interruption, and I pass because I have double Purrely. I didn't feel like gambling with Researcher, so I dropped double Purrely here in their standby phase. And we're facing Lunalight. I gotta say, like, this victory did not feel that sweet, honestly, or even that well earned. I have some questions about this Lunalight player's abilities here, no offense, but you'll see right now that I can't help but wonder if they just forgot what turn it was. So despite the double Purrely here and that I get 2 draws, there's not much else I can do. So I'm hoping that they can somehow play into Nibiru, but they have heavy Poly, and they go right into Liger Dancer there, but they end turn. So they could have hit me for 76 right there, and I'd be down to my last 400. Like, I was actually looking, was there anything stopping them from attacking? And I was like, no, I play this deck. I know that they should have been able to hit me hard there. I go fishing here with Researcher, hit with Beta. Beta gets me the fusion, well, into the fusion. Then I can use Sigma Plus, special summon that makes Odion live, and I will go into Underworld Goddess. I hit for 55, and I'll set the Super Poly, thinking, okay, I'm actually in surprisingly good position here. Now they try to special summon, I will negate. They'll use the Search, and they're about to go into another. I hit them with Droll just because I know that can hurt, but they're able to go right into another Liger Dancer. So I'll use Odion to tag out, so at least when they Raigeki my board, that I can do something with it. But it turns out yeah. I just decided not to because they were going to blow it up anyway. They stopped my induction, which is unfortunate. So now I'm just trying to figure out how can I play around the other Raigeki. Now I thought this was interesting, the way that they chose to not use it. So by going into IP and then into Gorgon, I have a way to beat over the second Liger Dancer. I made a tactical mistake there by going into Odion right away. I forgot that it could still activate as Raigeki. So I should have beat over it first and then had the Odion live, because then I would be able to protect against this play right here. It doesn't matter though, because I have Super Poly, so I fuse it away and I go into Garura, and they have nothing else that they can play. So a weird duel there. I almost felt like they were toying with me, and then, you know, effed around and found out. We're going first here. Basically, if Duotarion gets stopped here, I'm pretty screwed. So here we go. Duotarion effect. It does not get stopped. I go into Magnet Bonding, and then this is full combo right here. So I'm not even going to bother narrating that part. I'm just trying to see at what point they choose to activate any kind of interruption here. You You can see that I have a lot of follow-up for turn 2 in terms of Ghost Spell and Mourner. And of course I'm going to try to end on that beast as well. Ideally, if you can, when you have Mourner in hand, it's not a bad idea to also make Flux Oxenfell, because then you can Mourner whatever they summon, bounce it back to hand, and then they take damage. But yeah, so typical end board there. I leave Sigma Plus on board so that when I IP away, I get some advantage off of it. Facing Kewl Tune again. I dropped the Mourner there just to try to negate them adding cards to hand and force them to play into spells. So they go into Typhon there, at which point I just go ahead and will go into SP. SP will banish, and then I get something off of Sigma Plus. I go into Beta, and Beta will search, and they scoop it up. As we're approaching the end of the video, I wanted to say thanks for always watching, and of course please like, comment, and subscribe. We're going first here. Really strong opening hand just because I have my 1-card starter. However, they do interrupt me. I don't have a lot else, so I spring Purrely just in case they decide to play on my turn. They hit me with Ghost Spell, so that's really unfortunate, and then I just play 2 and pass. Now we're facing Kewl Tune again, and now essentially my one play here is, on top of Mournering that, which they're able to dodge thanks to Kewl Tune Synchro, is Nibiru. So Nibiru will actually enable some plays if I'm able to tribute my own monster. Now they're actually going to do the job for me a little bit, because they're going to pop the Sigma Plus right there, which then allows me to go into Beta. Beta will get me the Sigma Minus, so I'm ready to fuse on my turn. Now I have to worry about the transmigration kind of card. Now I baited out with Nibiru there, and then I tag out from Beta into Epsilon. Epsilon doesn't even get to use the effect, unfortunately. So I'm actually in pretty deep trouble here. Now they make their big synchro monster. They beat over plus minus, which then comes back to hand, so that's important because I have follow-up now. But they can attack me twice. Now, I think that getting rid of their synchro monster, the negate, might have not been the best idea. So now on my turn again, I'm trying to figure out how do I get past this. So I go into Fua because I'm trying to bait them going into any other plays and give me some draws at least. So they do that right there. They quick synchro on my turn, and I don't get any draws because they do it as a response to Fua. Then they hand rip me again. Well, they extra deck rip me again, and they rip the Super Poly, which sucks because that would have come in handy right now when they force me to, when they give me a draw. So instead I get Droll, which is useless at this point. They actually Droll me because they're trying to go into other stuff. That would prevent me from going into anything. But at this point, thankfully, I don't need to add from deck to hand anymore. So I go into Flux Specials, and they scoop it up. They knew at this point that it was over. Anyway, thanks for watching, y'all. Take care.